Indian Oil, shining the light on conservation.
After decades of extinction, the cheetah leaps back to life in India. 70 years ago, the cheetah went extinct in India due to hunting and habitat loss. From extinction to a symbol of hope, the cheetah's incredible journey is just a beginning. With the support of Indian Oil, the Energy of India and the National Tiger Conservation Authority, work is on to ensure these swift and graceful big cats flourish again in the land of India that they once called home. Tune in to learn more about this inspiring story of recovery and conservation and the role of Indian Oil in making it possible.
Historically, the cheetah roamed free across Africa and Asia. Today, these big cats have disappeared from approximately 90% of their range in Africa, and very few remain in central Iran. When the cheetah became the first predator to go extinct in India since independence, it was a call to action. In response, the Government of India drafted the action plan for the introduction of cheetahs in India early in 2022, with an ambitious mandate to introduce 50 cheetahs into various national parks over the next 5 years. The first step in this plan was to bring 8 cheetahs from Namibia to Kuno National Park, Madhya Pradesh in September 2022. In a historic first, Indian Oil collaborated with the National Tiger Conservation Authority, NTCA, to support the transcontinental relocation of the cheetah to its native range in India. With Indian Oil's support, 5 female and 3 male cheetahs made the long journey home and were released into their enclosure by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This marks a significant step forward in the effort to protect and preserve these magnificent big cats in India.
17th of September 2022 was a momentous day for the conservation of wildlife in the country. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, released the cheetahs that were specially flown in the Kuno National Park as a part of the very ambitious cheetah rehabilitation project. And as Indian Oil, we were the only corporate who are associated with this grand project. I'm extremely happy and delighted to share that we have spent 50 crores as a part of the corporate social responsibility to ensure that the cheetah makes India its home once again. Cheetahs were extinct since 1952 in India, and this is the first of its kind, the Transcontinental Rehabilitation Program, which has been undertaken by the National Tiger Conservation Authority and Indian Oil, and we are very hopeful that this will come through successfully.
The 8 cheetahs that call Kuno Madhya Pradesh home now were first sheltered in small quarantine enclosures while they were assessed medically.
We are the only country in the world with successful experience of tiger conservation in tiger reintroduction in Sariska and Panna Tiger Reserve, and this experience will greatly help us in the introduction of cheetah in our forest.
It's a jungle out there, especially when a species comes under threat. Indian Oil's environmental leadership continues to focus its energy on safeguarding wildlife. On the other side of this break, join us again to know more about how the Maharatna is preserving marine biodiversity while rehabilitating elephants and protecting rhinos. All that and more when you come back.
Even before bringing home the cheetahs, Indian Oil has for long been at the forefront of biodiversity conservation. Safeguarding the vulnerable single-horned rhinoceros, rehabilitating elephants in Mathura, and protecting precious corals in Gujarat. Sometimes, the path of oil pipelines can traverse sensitive ecological spaces. In the Gulf of Kutch, at the very edge of the forest coastal belt at Vadinar, Indian Oil owns and operates 2 single-point mooring systems that have been in operation for over 4 decades. These SPMs are used to unload crude oil from very large crude carriers and tankers. But when time came to replace the undersea pipelines connecting these SPMs, Indian Oil knew that it was important to protect the marine ecosystem in the area along with Zoological Survey of India through a carefully planned process. Indian Oil and the ZSI team expertly located the corals to a safe location where they could continue to thrive. And as you can see, the corals have taken to their new home beautifully. They are growing and thriving once again. These corals will be monitored for a period of 4 years to ensure their continuous growth and survival. This is just one example of Indian Oil's dedication to protecting the environment and working in harmony with the natural world. Another notable initiative of Indian Oil has been their support for the protection of olive ridley turtles, a vulnerable species found majorly along the coastlines of Odisha and Tamil Nadu. These turtles are an important part of the local ecosystem, and Indian Oil has worked alongside the wildlife departments of both states to ensure their protection. As part of this effort, Indian Oil has created artificial hatcheries at designated locations along the coast. Here, the eggs of the olive ridley turtles are protected until they hatch, at which point the hatchlings are released back into the sea. This ensures that the next generation of these turtles has a chance to thrive and contribute to the health of the local ecosystem. This initiative is just one of the many ways in which Indian Oil has worked to preserve biodiversity and safeguard it for future generations. Research shows that the rates of species extinction in modern times are accelerating because of human activity. In the past, natural phenomena like volcanic eruptions and asteroids were the reasons. Today, it is plastic pollution, loss of habitat, and overhunting. Deep in the heart of India, in the state of Assam, the Indian single-horned rhino has faced numerous challenges over the years, including habitat loss and poaching. But thanks to the efforts of organizations like Indian Oil, these magnificent animals are getting the protection they need to thrive. As part of its CSR initiatives, Indian Oil has adopted Indian single-horned rhinos at various zoos across the country, providing them with the resources they need to live happy and healthy lives.
The great Indian one-horned rhino. And Indian Oil, he's our brand mascot. And we have adopted the rhino as a brand mascot because Indian Oil and Assam have relations going back to 1901 when our Digboy refinery was commissioned. And the rhino on the endangered species list. And we thought it is just the right time to step in and save the great one-horned rhino. What a magnificent creature this is. And now let me share with you, we have adopted a number of rhinos from all across the country in the various zoos. Indian Oil, a responsible corporate, we believe that we are not just there for making business. Our business is fueling the nation, but at the same time, we have got a very strong environmental conscience by which we are able to take care of the flora and fauna.
Not only are these rhinos an important part of our local ecosystem, but they also serve as Indian Oil's brand mascot, representing our commitment to environmental stewardship and sustainable development. Through Indian Oil's adoption program, crucial support for the care and protection of these majestic creatures is being provided.
IOC has joined hands with the Delhi Zoo and Rhino Conservation, and not only with the Delhi Zoo, they have also partnered with the various other zoos in the country in the conservation of rhino, and which is a very welcome step as rhinos are really very gracious animals. And when we talk about their numbers, so in captivity in the country there are right now 59 rhinos, and out of them in Delhi Zoo we have 2, Anjuha and Maheshwari. So these 2 female have been recently adopted by the IOC.
The call of the wild has never been louder. The racing cheetahs, the sturdy rhinos, the mesmerizing coral reefs, they all have a story to tell, just like the majestic elephant, another animal that is getting its time in the sun by being rehabilitated by Indian Oil.
Wildlife Research was established in 1995 by our founders Geeta Sheshmani and Karthik Satyanarayan, and it was mainly started for the welfare of animals, which was on the road and different practices going on the street performance, and they concentrated initially on dancing bear trade, which was like a 400-year-old tradition in India. And 2006 onward, laterally we started working with the elephants as well. IOCL was one of our key donors who started visiting to our center. They help us for plantation, and they told actually we can collaborate with you. And that dialogue started moving forward, and we are very, very happy and proud that they could collaborate, and they had given us a very huge enclosure with a water pond for the elephants. We started microchipping the elephants for Delhi Forest Department. And then we looked at these elephants which are working on the streets and walking on the streets, begging on the streets, and they had very bad foot injuries. So there was a need of setting a rehabilitation center or a rescue center or a hospital to take care of these animals.
As we continue our journey exploring the world of Indian Oil, we are now turning our attention to Indian Oil Eco Parks, located at the company's refineries across the country. At Indian Oil refineries across India, the polishing ponds, which receive effluent from its refinery, have transformed into ecological parks that are safe havens for diverse species of birds. These eco-parks serve as crucial nesting grounds for a wide variety of birds, providing them with a safe and protected environment to call home. This is a testament to the stringent environmental norms at Indian Oil's refineries and shows the company's commitment to protecting the environment. Refineries essentially consume large quantities of water for industrial use. Taking a conscious call, the company has taken a unique step for minimizing its water footprint substantially. Indian Oil's Mathura refinery typically uses about 3 to 4 million gallons of water for plant operations every day. But in the next 3 months, the refinery will stop using fresh river water from the Yamuna and start using recycled water from the sewage treatment plant that's coming up in Mathura city. It will thus become the first refinery in the world to use 100% recycled sewage-treated water for its entire industrial use. Similarly, Gujarat Refinery in Vadodara will soon begin the use of recycled water from industrial effluent for its operations. This model will be replicated at other Indian Oil refineries as well.
All creatures, great and small, have a role to play in nature. And when any species is threatened, it can have a dangerous ripple effect on humankind. If it takes a village to raise a child, it needs a universe to sustain the animal kingdom. Stepping up to this challenge is Indian Oil. As a leader in the energy industry, it is playing a crucial role in helping India transition to a cleaner, greener and brighter future.
Good afternoon. It's a very bright sunny day and I am in the solar fields. solar plant of the Madanpur Khadar bottling plant of IndianOil, which is having one of the highest solar generating capacity in IndianOil installations. We also have a big amount of renewables coming in because India is blessed with the sun and the wind in different geographies. So we will take advantage of scaling up the renewable capacity from today's 250 megawatts to nearly 5 gigawatt by 2026. IndianOil is the only corporate which has really come out with a very definitive action plan for achieving net zero commitments for our scope 1 and scope 2 emissions by 2046. And with this narrative, we have also ensured that we chalk out an investment plan of nearly 2 lakh crores by the year 2046 to achieve these net zero commitments. In fact, IndianOil is one of the few corporates probably in the world who have announced a net zero commitment, and this Rhino adoption, the cheetah rehabilitation project, there are some dots, and all these dots together go for the net zero commitment of IndianOil.
IndianOil is a company that has always worked towards nation building and driving economic growth. All this while keeping sustainability as a bedrock. IndianOil has been consciously developing environmentally friendly corporate practices and, in the same breath, keeping an eye out for the future. Investing in clean technology and tackling the looming crisis of plastics, the company is walking the talk when it comes to a greener future.
Biofuels is one area where IndianOil is totally committed to, because biofuel is one thing, be it bioethanol or the compressed biogas, it totally primes up the entire Indian economy, especially the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector is responsible for 50% of the total employment generation, and nearly 1/4 of the contribution of GDP comes from this sector. So by way of promoting biofuels, we'll ensure that we prime up the entire Indian economy in the rural part. The next big thing is the introduction of hydrogen. India, we are one of the few countries in the world which will become the green hydrogen hub, and IndianOil will lead the way. Our 2 refineries at Mathura and Panipat will be having the first green hydrogen plants coming up. Mathura we have selected very consciously because Mathura refinery is in that very critical Taas trapezium zone. So we want to make a big statement that IndianOil is committed to the environment and also to the heritage of the country. One more big initiative that IndianOil has launched upon is that we are a responsible corporate and we want to recycle the plastics. Now, coming down to the current problem of the world is that plastic generation is going up by the day. So IndianOil has taken upon ourselves to recycle 100 million PET bottles. And this 100 million PET bottles will be converting into garments, which will be selling it to the merchandising store. So this is also one way that our new campaign of Unbottled will see IndianOil cleaning up the entire ecosystem and not allowing these plastics to reach the oceans. Winds of change, and the color of this change is green. These gentle giants are worrying and churning out green power, the power of the future, green power. And IndianOil is pioneering in this endeavor to make green power one of the main ingredients of our energy transition. At Devikot, near Jaisalmer, where we have these wind turbines generating about 25 megawatts of power. And this 25 megawatt of power is one of the constituents of our total IndianOil's portfolio of 170 megawatts. These are in the deserts of Thar, they are in the Gulf of Kutch, and in the coast of Andhra Pradesh. So along with solar and wind power, we have a portfolio of nearly 250 megawatts. The renewable capacity of IndianOil by 2026 is going to be 5 gigawatts, and this will be scaled up to 12 gigawatts by 2046. This will be one of the main pillars by which IndianOil achieves net zero commitments of scope 1 and scope 2 emissions by 2046. Pehle Indian, fir oil. For us, the well-being of the country, the countrymen comes priority, number 1. and everything else is secondary. So this is the way this great company works, and this is the DNA of the company. Our core values of care, innovation, passion and trust are all directed towards the well-being of the consumers and for the country in general.
Repopulating India with cheetahs, rehabilitating at-risk animals like the rhino and elephant, creating eco-havens for migratory birds. The energy of India, Indian Oil, has the country's best interests at heart always. They may be leaders in all streams of oil, but with a heart that beats for its people and its animals. Join us again in the next episode as we explore Indian Oil initiatives that elevate the lives of millions in the country.